Hello everyone and welcome back to another Minecraft video, where today we are starting something a little bit new. We have joined a server, and this server is called Arch SMP, and it's going to be filled with lots of other incredible builders, and this series is going to be dedicated to us building up some awesome kingdoms, castles, villages and towns, all those fun things. So the way it's going to work, or the way I'm going to do it for my videos in this series, is mostly I'm going to time-lapse the builds and progress of my own little kingdom, village, whatever you want to call it. I haven't fully planned out what I'm going to do yet, but I do have an area picked out, so we're going to head over there and we'll get to building. But first of all, I'd just like to say that this is going to work again a little bit differently than other SMPs and servers that I've played on, as I won't be doing things like farms, collecting resources, any of that on camera. That will all be done off camera, and I'll be focusing on building and talking you through my process when it comes to building, the planning and the techniques used to build up a large style kingdom or village type of thing. So yeah, I'm going to go to the area that I've picked out. I'm going to start building, a little bit of time lapse, and then we can check out the build once that's all done. So I do hope you enjoy this one, and it's going to be fun. So yeah, sit back, relax, and let's go. So I found this nice little area in between some forests with an ocean on one side and mountain areas on the other, and I thought it was a perfect place to build up a little village style area with possibly a castle and fortified walls in the future. So the build I'm doing here is just going to be my starter base, and I'm starting off, as you can see, with a tower using some texture and cobblestone near the bottom. I'm using stripped dark oak wood here at the base, and I'm going to try something different and try and make a diagonal shaped building, which is something I've not really tackled much before in the past. I think it turned out okay, and there was some challenges to get it right, but I do like how the end product was. I'm using a little bit of different colours in this one, as again I wanted to veer away from maybe the typical things that I would build, and I'm using some granite, polished granite, and some bricks for the walls. The roof here, as you can see, I need to follow this line for the diagonal, and it was a little bit difficult and challenging to get right, but in the end I ended up going for a more rustic and rundown feel, so I went in and used some slabs and trapdoors just to mess that all up and make it a little bit more medieval and rustic looking in the end. So I do like how it turned out, and like I said, I'm going to use some different colours in these builds and try and really express that and colour scheme and not just stick to the greys and browns. So on the top of the tower here, we're actually going to be using acacia wood. So we're going to use a stripped acacia logs with acacia planks, signs, trapdoors, all that kind of thing, and we're going to put a little flag on the top as well. I think the little tower adds a lot to the build, as it needed some height, as originally I did just have the diagonal building, so the tower I think is a nice focal point for the build. Hopefully in the future I'm going to expand out this little village, and we're going to have lots of little buildings that are similar style to this. Maybe have villagers in them. We could build up blacksmith areas, farming areas, different things like this, and theme the builds depending on what their purpose is. As you can see, we are making very good progress on the build now, and just texturing out the walls and adding in the little details. I added a little outhouse at the back here as a toilet, which we'll take a little better look at later on. But then it was a case of a chimney would have been a perfect addition to this build, again to add that little bit more height. I used all sorts of stone stairs, cobblestone walls, things like that, just to break it up and make it look that little bit more rustic feeling. I felt that the right hand side needed something, so I wanted to add a canopy area where we could use for storage of things like hay bales, barrels, chests, all these kind of things. So I used some wool here with some dark oak supports. Again, I love how this bit turned out, and I'm going to continue this theme in the future for all of the builds. Moving down the sides, adding in that extra detail using barrels and chests everywhere. And once again at the end we will be using leaves and bone meal around to settle into the environment. I came up with this little design here for a banner, as I wanted the cyan colour scheme and cyan and grey to be the colour scheme for the kingdom, for the castle. So that's what the flag is made out of, and the little banners, and we'll touch that in on all the builds in the future as well. Moving into the interior, and this was a little bit difficult to film just because it is a tight squeeze in here, but I added a little partition wall in the middle and used stripped oak wood for the floor. Then I thought, we have the chimney on the roof, so let's put that chimney on the inside and actually make it functional, having furnaces in the inside. That way we can smelt up all of our items. Of course, we have to decorate out the roof. We added in some leaves, a little bit of a table, and finished it off with a cyan rug. And that's the build complete. As I said, I added in leaves, I bone mealed the area around, added in a little path out the front, and I think it turned out great. And I really do hope that you think so too. So with the build all complete, let's go and take a closer look and we can get a better feel of how this is going to work in our village. Now that we have our starter base all set up, I do hope you enjoyed the time lapse of this build, and I do hope you enjoyed this type of content as a little bit differently than things we've done in the past. But I hope it's a little bit more entertaining watching the build come to fruition from scratch, and me talking a little bit about the process, and hopefully you can learn something by listening and watching the videos. So yeah, out the back, looking a bit closer at the details, we do have hay bales and barrels and things in this little area with the canopy, which I do think really adds to the build. I do like this section here. Coming around to the back, we did see I built this little thing, which is an outhouse for a toilet. So yep, it is looking a little bit full, maybe needing emptied, so we'll close that over and forget about that for now. Have a nice chimney there with some more storage, leaves and things to really bring in that environment. And let's take a closer look at the interior. Little sign there for my name. So just a hallway here with some barrels and things. Some of the blocks like stone cutters and looms I put in here just to add some functionality to this room as well. We can go up this ladder in the tower, and this is where our bedroom is going to be. A little bit of storage and yeah, not much going on. Very small space to decorate. And then in the main living area we do have our cyan carpet, little table, our functional fireplace, and yet storage area just off to the side, which I have actually been using and sorted all of my items into. So making a good start indeed. So with that guys, that is going to do it for today's video. Again, I do hope you enjoyed, and if you did, leave a like down below and consider subscribing if you're new. It would mean a lot to me, and it would mean you show me the support for this series and what we can do here. The plans here is to build up some kind of castle structure there behind me on that mountainside there, and it lead down into a village down in this area with some crops and wheat fields and all those kind of things down here, and possibly even some docks and boats out in the water in future. But yes, again, I hope you enjoyed. Until the next one, bye bye.